So now I would like to call upon Professor Hwang Suni from Dongguk University. Professor Hwang Suni is a professor in the College of Buddhism in Dongguk University in Seoul, South Korea. His main field of research is the doctrinal history of Indian Buddhism and South and Southeast Asian Buddhist culture. He has been a visiting professor in many of the universities outside Korea, and also there are lots of articles and books to his credit. The present title of the paper is Nalanda and Korea, its ancient link and contemporary development. Professor Hwang Suni, please.
Venerable members of Sangha, distinguished guests and ladies and gentlemen, my name is Sunil Hwang and I'm from Dongguk University, Seoul, South Korea. And it is my great honor to be able to give a presentation here in this auspicious conference. And this morning I was so touched with seeing His Highness Dalai Lama talking, and I'm very happy. So today I'd like to talk about Nalanda and Korea, its ancient link and the contemporary development. I made it in a 7th part. I tried to complete within 20 minutes. The relationship between India and Korea, particularly in the context of Buddhism, has a long history. Nalanda, a renowned Buddhist monastery and the center of learning in ancient India, played a significant role in this relationship. Nalanda was a hub of intellectual and spiritual exchange, attracting scholars and students from various parts of Asia, including Korea. Korean monks from ancient kingdom of Silla traveled to Nalanda to study Buddhist precept, doctrine, and philosophy. They then brought back Buddhist sculptures and other important artifacts to China and Korea, greatly influencing development of Buddhism in East Asia. Today, Nalanda continues to hold an important place in the heart of many East Asian Buddhists as a symbol of their shared Buddhist heritage with India. The relationship between India and Korea, forged through the exchange of knowledge and ideas at a place like Nalanda, remains important, especially as this year marks the 50-year anniversary of diplomatic tie between Korea and India. My talk is basically depends on the book called Biography of Pilgrim Monks to the West to India in Tang Dynasty, written by Yi Jing. Yi Jing is very famous pilgrim monk from China. And he wrote this book not in China, but in Palembang, Sumatra in Indonesia. That was the ancient capital of the maritime trade kingdom called Srivijaya. So you can see it's very far down there, even lower than Singapore. You can see the red dot there. So Yi Jing was already very international figure during that time. And fortunately in South Korea, we had the wood block preserved in Woljeongsa Temple in Ode Mountain. And Ode Mountain is the east middle part of the Korean peninsula. Woljeongsa Temple is one of the most important Buddhist temples in South Korea. It has got wood block here. It said biography. It starts with the biography of pilgrim monks to the east to India in Tang Dynasty. Ministry of Buddhist Canon in Goryeo Dynasty sculpted this under imperial edict in the year 2046. So this is very long wood block, and it was done with the edict from the government. So Korean people also regard this biography as very important. In this book, the life of 61 pilgrim monks appear, and among them, 9 actually are about the Korean monks from the comment from the Chinese pilgrim monk. And the 9 monks are Arya Varman, Heo, Gubon, Sarvajina Deva, Hyongak, Purajanya Varman, Hyunyu and the two unidentified monks who died in a sea travel, during the sea travel in the South Sea. So I am skipping all the translation I've done here, but I will recall part when I need to record it. So first of all, their journey to the west, to the India, how they make it. So when we see those 8 monks made their journey to India, some of them took land route through Tibet to India, and some of them through the sea route, through Srivijaya, which means Palembang in Indonesia, and then to India. So as you can see here, during that time, the capital was in the middle part of the China. Some of them go through the Tibet and then go to the Nepal and then to the middle kingdom, Magadha area. Or they go to the Guangzhou area, southern part of the China, and then go south to the Sumatra, and then they go either to the Sri Lanka or to the Tamnariti, the most famous port when the India trade with China. Journey to India appeared during the Yijing time was different from those of Paxian and Xuanzang. Both traveled to India through northwest region, which means Afghanistan and Pakistan. So this is the route of Paxian. You can see they cannot go through the Tibet, so they go way round through the Taklamakan desert to the northwestern part of the India. And the Xuanzang as well take a similar route to the northwestern part. But Yijing's time, it become different. Tibetan route become popular due to the formal relationship between Tang Dynasty China and Tibet. There was a marriage of a Tibetan king, Songchen Kampo, and the Tang princess Wenchen at the year of 640. You can see in the middle is King Songchen Kampo, and to the right, Chinese princess Wenchen, and to the left, Newa princess. So somehow during that time, Tibet become a kind of intermediate place where it can actually link China through to India. From India through to China, it's become a central hub to link between the two. So many people made their journey there, and one comment from Yijing said, if they are really hurry in walking, it takes only 5 months, from the East India to Xi'an. There are also sea route. The boat utilized for maritime trade in South Sea can be seen depicted in the stone carving of Borobudur, located in Java in Indonesia. So it's further down there, and you may visit Borobudur. If you check very carefully, many boats appear because maritime trade during that time was very important and very strong, and usually Malaysian, those Polynesian people are in charge of that. Chinese people also built a junk, but that occurred during the Song Dynasty China, which means 200 or 300 years later. So during that time, they used Southeast Asian seamen, their boat they used it. Both at South Sea during that time were moving through monsoon seasonal wind, through deep sea travel. So monsoon seasonal wind in Indian Ocean, winds blow in summer from southwest to northeast, winter from northeast to southwest. So before then they have a coastline travel that takes a long time, but they discover monsoon wind. So this is summertime, they actually move very fast. From Sri Lanka to the southern part of Myanmar takes only 2 or 3 weeks. And from the Indonesia, Palembang in Sumatra to Guangzhou, China, takes 50 days. They talk about 50. So it's very quick when they discover. And this is the winter time when the wind blow from northwest to northeast to southwest, so people can move in. So this monsoon wind was called trade wind because of this wind. The very remote region can have a trade together. So I always believe the best product India export to the Southeast Asia and East Asia must be the Buddhism, because Buddhism dominated, Southeast Asia as well as China and Korea and Japan through this trade route, make it possible. So one of the very interesting remark about I Ching's mention about Korean monk was Burajanya Badman Haeryun, and he initially took a sea route from the Shilla to Fudan area in China. That's just next to Taiwan. And then from there, from Fudan to Xi'an, the capital of Tang Dynasty China, on foot. And then he become joining the member of Hyunjo, one of the very famous Chinese pilgrims to India, and then they walk through Nepal and then Nepal to East India, as little as 5 months. So this is the route actually Hyunjo took it. If he were in a really hurry, that journey may take, I think, about 10 months. 10 months he can make it. How about the notion of Korean people during that time among the Indian people? I Ching mentioned very interesting thing in his book. Arya Varman, he said, was born in Gweki and located in eastern boundary and passed away at the age of 70 in Yongcheon in western most point. So Gweki is a Korean peninsula, and Yongcheon is a Nalanda area in India. He further commented, Gweki corresponds to Kukuteswara in Sanskrit, and the Kukuta means chicken, Yesla means precious. That is the kingdom of Goryeo. According to the legend in this country, feather of a chicken wing were plucked and used to adorn to venerate the chicken gods. In India, Kukuteswara is referring to kingdom of Goryeo. So Kukuteswara means Kukuta Iswara, which means the country where its lord is chicken. And mural painting of Goryeo people with the feather of a chicken wing were plucked appear at Samarkand in Uzbekistan during that time. This is one of the mural painting there in Samarkand. You can see Goryeo people adorn the chicken wings over there. Even in the Joseon dynasty, when we are checking the mural painting of the Buddha's lifetime, you can see many Korean people still using a chicken feather or bird feather, adorning their head there. So that's the notion of Korean people during that time among Indians. And I Ching said not Nalanda Vihara, he said Sri Nalanda Mahavihara, and that's his translation over there. And the Nalanda, according to Suenjang and from the modern etymological point of view, can be analyzed as a na alamda, which means not enough giving. So endless giving, they can do it. But according to I Ching, he mentioned something different. Interestingly, there is a pond named Yongcheon in Nalanda temple that relates to this legend. Nalanda is the name of the dragon. Since there was a dragon named Nagalanda in Bin City, it was named after it. So maybe the name of a dragon is Nalanda or Nagalanda, we are not sure, but there are some differences. And according to I Ching, there are 8 rectangular buildings with a 3-story rectangular building. This is the map of Nalanda during the 1860, when Alexander Cunningham drew the drawing. And this is the current day Nalanda, which has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 buildings, rectangular buildings there. From the aerial view, you can see this kind of shape of Nalanda, you can actually see. And also, according to the Taranatha, the main stupa south of the Nalanda site was Sariputra stupa. Now, if you go to Nalanda currently, they said it's Sariputra stupa. But according to I Ching, it is the Mulla Ganda, Mulla Ganda Kuti, where the Buddha stays there for 3 months during the retreat. That is why they built a stupa there. So that's over there, the building number 3. And the building number 3, some people talk about it's a pyramid shape. Some people talk about something different. But this is a very interesting building. This is 1915 when they first saw the stupa number 3 before excavation. When they tried to excavate into there, they found out some kind of basement of the building, and then step by step they discovered the towers and the central part and the staircase going up there. So that's the current form. So this is not actually completed form of building number 3. It must be like that during the time. Yijing mentioned Buddhist stupa, huge stupa there with a very high. There are some reconstruction, work going on, but still at the moment we don't know exactly. So if you go to Nalanda, if you are watching it only only on the ground, you are not really see the full picture of Nalanda. You need to see from the sky, then you will see the whole building there. So when Yijing visited, he said the temple was a home of 3,500 monks. The support for the temple came from the 201 villages, with the king donating the land and labor as well, so that many Chinese pilgrims and Korean monks and from the Southeast Asia, they can comfortably study there under the patronage. So how Nalanda become so successful? One thing I'd like to talk about the library of Sri Nalanda Mahavihara. Yijing mentioned about the Silla monk He He said, while reading Tang Buddhist text called the Yang Lun, the Chinese translation of Mahayana Sangra Sutra by Asanga at Nalanda Temple, Yijing stumbled upon a note stating that the text was copied and written by a Silla monk under the Bodhi tree near the Mullaganda Kuti. Actually, it means if any Chinese monk or Korean monk go to Nalanda, they can easily get access not only to the Indic Buddhist manuscript, they can also access to the Chinese manuscript as well. Nalanda library preserved not only Sanskrit and Pali Buddhist manuscript, but also Korean manuscripts such as those written in Chinese. It was an international library at that time, one of the unique library. Anyone wants to study there, they can get all the material. According to Yijing, before here, Chinese monk Dohi brought both old and new translation of 400 Chinese Buddhist texts from Tang Dynasty to Nalanda, where they are now housed during the time of Yijing. So Nalanda library is a huge library, gathered together all the Buddhists, not only within India, but also from East Asia and Southeast Asia as well. So copying Buddhist manuscript was like an ongoing task for the monk, much like the work of a Silla monk here. So many monks there from East Asia, they copy Chinese text there. They do their own contribution. So then, and second point, how Nalanda become very important is mainly because this is the center of Buddhist tradition and new ideas. Yijing, the one who wrote this text, looking for the Vinayas, he is looking for the genuine Buddhist precept, and he found out Mulla Sarvastivada Vinaya might be the excellent. He actually brought it back to China and translated. Xuanzang, before then, went there looking for the Yogacara philosophy, and he wrote Vijñapti Matrata Siddhi Shastra, and it became main text for Paxiang school in China. This is Vasubandhu lineage, which is different from Silla Mongo Heo. Silla Mongo Heo also looking for Yogacara philosophy, but he is more interested in Mahayana Sangraha Shastra, which was done by Asanga. So maybe there are some difference between Korean monk and Chinese monk during that time. During the 7th century, Vijñapti Matrata, or mind only, was the leading doctrine as well as philosophical idea throughout East Asia. With the help of those pilgrim monks, Persian school, part of East Asian Yogacara tradition, become a predominant Dharma school in China, Korea, and Japan. Even before Joseon Dynasty in Korea, during the maybe 1400 common era, Pasang school become most strongest Dharma school in Korea before the Zen, Zen meditation dominate Korean area. Most of Silla monks copied and collected Buddhist texts in Indic language to bring back to their home to translate. But unfortunately, apart from one, most of them couldn't make their way home. They passed away either in India or on their way back, go back. Yeah. And third one I'd like to talk about the importance of Nalanda is that Nalanda is not just one place. Nalanda is centrally located. Okay, I will finish it in 2 minutes. So Nalanda, as said, the temple is located to the south of Rajgir, ancient capital of Magadha Kingdom. Vulture Peak and bamboo forest are situated nearby. Southwest of the temple faces the Mahabodhi temple in Bodh Gaya, while south faces to the Mahakashapa mountain. To the north, it faces Vaishali. To west, it looks at Deer Park of wise men in Sarnath. To the east, it faces Tamlariti, which was an important port for maritime trade with the Tang Dynasty China. So as you can see in the map, Nalanda is centrally located. It's on the crossroad among the old important Buddhist sites. During his time in India, monk helped pay homage to the sacred relics and resided for a decade, 10 years, in Sinjisa temple located in Amravana in Vaishali. Recently, he joined to the east to stay a Buddhist temple owned by Tokharian monk from the north. Temple had originally been constructed by Tokharians to house monks from their own country, and it was known as its wealth and abundant resources. And according to I Ching, there are 2 foreign temples near Mahabodhi temple in Bodh Gaya during that time. One was called Guna Charita, the other one is Kalinga. Guna Charita, many monks from northwest stayed there. Kalinga temple, many monks from south there. And according to I Ching, there was Jina China temple near Deer Park of wise men in Sarnath, but not anymore when he was there. So, kind of a network was already built during the time when Nalanda becomes center of intellectual learning, and the monk can, exchange the information and join there together. So, Dongguk University, where I belong, founded in 1906 in Korean Buddhist Jogae order, and Dongguk became one of the leading Buddhist study center in South Korea. Now we are trying to expand our link with Indian universities. College of Buddhism at Dongguk University is expanding its connection with Buddhist universities in India to revitalize Korean historical link with India. We've already done with the Gautam Buddha University and Nalanda University. We are aiming at doing with the Nalanda Mahavihara and the Sanchi University of Buddhist and Indic Studies. So we already done with the Gautam Buddha and with the Nalanda University as well. And I hope we can expand our link with the Nalanda Mahavihara, and also the newly built Sanchi University and Buddhist and Indic Studies. If we completed it, I think we can revitalize the ancient link on the study of Buddhist ideas and Buddhist precepts, together with India and Korea, and together with the countries in East Asia and Southeast Asia as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Iwang Suni, for your very clear presentation with respect to the relation between Korea and India, particularly in the context of Nalanda tradition.